And now, ladies and gentlemen of the old world, we're back in business with a showdown between the Greenskins, who shall be led by Grom the Paunch atop his mighty wolf chariot. Granted, he doesn't have much of a choice. And today, my friends, we face off against the Skaven in this tournament showdown, who shall be led by Talaxla Soothsayer. So this was actually game one in our best of three series in Aerocrastics Salad Cup. And a very strange map for sure. So if you guys go ahead and take a look, you're going to notice the Skaven army is pretty much in its traditional deployment. It's looking at your opponent. But my deployment wasn't so optimal. On this map, unfortunately, one army does start here, the other starts here, which, of course, we both have the opportunity to bring artillery, but against Skaven, their mortar teams, their Jezzails, I didn't really feel like I could bring a true artillery line and force this Skaven out. Maybe if I had gone with like 3 Doomdiver catapults. But again, I was supposed to deploy down here, and had I gone with my traditional build, which is a combination of Savage Orc Biggins and Goblins and, of course, Mobile Pressure, I would have been forced into this choke point with summons, and then all of the mortars pretty much would have just dunked on me, and I would have had no chance. Like, imagine all the Savage Orcs running up here through water, so Skaven Slaves and Clan Rats could basically just be right along this choke, keeping me in the water, while I just get blasted by mortars and take the water fighting penalty, which would be terrible. So, I had to accommodate, overdapt, change. And yeah, we got Durkid Squig Hoppers up here in the high ground. We got Night Goblins, a very, very aggressive flank here. So yeah, you can see we're just coming in from all angles. Squig Hoppers, AP Caloonies here, more Squig Hoppers here and here. We basically deployed most of our army here on this far side. So it's mostly going to be Fanatics across the board. Going to be trying to get some value with those mighty chain ball abilities here on the Clan Rats and maybe the Council Guard if he did bring them, but I don't think he did. We got a couple of Goblin Archers as well. Night Goblin Shaman, a couple Spider Riders, Grom the Paunch, and a Hag here in the back. And last but not least, we do also have a single Doomdiver Catapult, which I figured would be safe depending on my deployment. So basically just kind of keep it here, shoot whatever I want, and potentially get some value. So for the Sooth's army, it's very much going to be a defensive army, as most Skaven armies are. He's got double mortars, he's got a Doom Wheel, a Helped Abomination, and I believe his lord is going to be Skrulk Daddy, supported by an Assassin as well. So the battle is underway here. The Cunning Goblin tactics are going to be trying to overwhelm the Skaven position. Get a little bit of shot here into the Poison Wind mortars, and we are forcing them back initially, which is good, but the mortars still are going to hurt very, very bad. Our Fanatics have engaged against some of the Skaven Slaves here, and I did throw some of the Fanatics right past them, trying to hit these incoming Clan Rats, but they did change trajectories at the last second. Now here we have all the Goblin Archers shooting in, going after the Rat Ogres. My guys are pulling back, and the Fanatics are actually doing some good work, going through the Clan Rats and, you know, doing some DPS on those guys. Now Grom the Paunch has finally made it from the deployment zone. He's going to be getting through these Rats pretty good. And yeah, he's really solid here. He already has 18 kills. He's been in combat for only a couple seconds. And the Poison Wind mortars, thankfully, are doing some friendly fire on the Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves, so buying me a little bit of time with the Paunch. And the Paunch is going to be pulling back. Assassin's Trophy, of course, nerfing his stats, and we're not quite happy about that. Now in the back here, we do have the Doom Wheel. The Doom Wheel. Chasing off some of my Night Goblin Archers, and I went with Night Goblin Archers so I could Vanguard. Again, I probably wouldn't recommend them in a traditional matchup, but based on the map that was in this tournament, I pretty much had to adapt. Otherwise, I would just get punished down there. So here we have Grom the Paunch getting in there and doing great work against the Assassins. So though I'm a little bit behind on the bounce of power, getting his characters low like this in the beginning is quite nice, and he has also, I believe, used a couple summons. So the Plague Monk summons are active. We have gotten some good engagements here with the Durkid Squig Hoppers and these other Squig boys, chewing on the Clan Rats where we can, and now we finally opened up the back line to the Poison Wind mortars. So my little goblins have snuck around here. The Wa is active. Doomdiver Catapult still raining some hot fire on these guys, and now we should be able to Shrek them pretty good. So though we have kind of conceded the front line, Grom the Paunch has gotten into this mortar team, and the Durkid Squig Hoppers and these little goblins should be able to shut down the mortars, which is a huge boon for my goblins. It's going to give me a bit of a mobile advantage with Grom the Paunch, and really allow me to cause some problems. More Fanatics coming in here, going to be tearing through the Clan Rats, but they don't take the proper angle. And unfortunately, most of those little guys do miss their mark. The Clan Rats breathing a sigh of relief in their little rat paws there. And the Giant River Troll Hag is a pretty good choice here as well, because she has high mass. So against like Doom Wheels and things like that and players, she can block them up and actually do well. And here we see some fresh fish. So we see Lord Skrulk and the River Troll Hag going to be getting her sack of meat and trying to beat down that guy. We do use a Blasting Scroll, but it unfortunately hits a couple Night Goblins here, which is a bit of a shame. And Grom the Paunch, in all his thickness, is going to be coming in and trying to finish off Lord Skrulk here. But Skrulk Daddy is quite elusive, basically just using my missile attacks to try and pop him. But Soothsayer does have a Doom Wheel. He's got Rat Ogres and a Hell Pit here as well. So he has a lot of good peeling tools. So the advantage I do have here, of course, is mobility. I can kind of go and find pockets of Skaven that are quite weak and get value there. But Soothsayer has a much more powerful Death Star, so I kind of have to try and pull him apart a little bit, play more of a patient game and see if I can isolate the Ogres, get rid of them, and then maybe in the late game use the Doomdiver and some Spirit Leeches to finish off the Hell Pit Abomination. But the bounce power is in the favor of Skaven. I think Soothsayer certainly has gotten the better engagements in many respects. You know, my Night Goblin Fanatics have done quite a bit of work, and I did realize in some ways that my build doesn't have the best answers for the Doom Wheel and the Hell Pit Abomination, but nonetheless, getting the mortars is quite good, and it's still a very, very even game here. So here, this is kind of what I wanted. We have the ogres actually chasing. So you can see here the Skaven slaves and the clan rats are chasing a little bit, which is great because now they're not with the Hell Pit, they're not with the assassin and Skrulk. So I can actually turn around with Grom the Paunch as well as the giant river troll hag with her sack of fish and various concoctions in there. And we can start beating down some of these rat ogres. So again, just kiting, trying to force them to overextend while I get a little bit of scoot and shoot here with the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, who will be setting their sights here on the rat ogres. So here again, we got the Skaven a little bit overextended, but they're just clan rats and Skaven slaves. I was about to say grats, like goblins and rats mixed. So that would be quite a terrifying mix there, for sure. But we are able to break them here. Also, the mortar teams are running for the hills. We have the Night Goblins pushing in as well. And Grey Duns is here, is going to be dropping some fat buffs here, as well as a little bit of Fanatic pressure pushing back those Skaven slaves. So some archers are back online. These rat ogres are very, very damaged. One group is actually at 9 models left. We're going to be collapsing with the Depth Creepers and our other Forest Goblin Spider Riders, trying to break this Skaven position, which is honestly might be a way to get back in this game here. You can see the rat ogres are pretty much mass breaking, and as far as what the Skaven have, it's mainly the Hell Pit, Skrulk, the Assassin, and the Doom Wheel. So I know Grom the Paunch in the late game probably could fight the Doom Wheel and maybe defeat it with his regeneration. So again, just banking on the fact that I really need to get rid of all these other units. So Spirit Leech going down to the ogres, just trying to peel them off. I could Spirit Leech the Hell Pit, but I feel like it would just heal through it before I could do enough DPS to really capitalize. So like I said, just finishing off the ogres, using Grom the Paunch, who's rocking 50 kills. Lieber used here by Soothsayer. Grom the Paunch, not too many good choices for him because both the River Troll Hag and the Paunch do regenerate. And here we do run over Skrulk for a quick second. He does actually use a Summon of Clan Rats to try and buffer that charge a little bit. And here, unfortunately, I didn't chase off to the best of my abilities. I probably should have gotten a bunch of Spider Riders and chased off this whole mess of Skaven, but I was so focused on that blob fight. In the back, my Doomdiver Catapult is in a little bit of trouble. You can see here some Clan Rats did make the long exodus across this choke point, and were able to jump on the Doomdiver Catapults. And yeah, here the Doomdiver Catapults crew are going to be trying to run. I think I have some dudes who might be able to save them. I think I had some like Sway Coppers nearby who might be able to peel, and that is actually going to be big. If I can get the Doomdiver Catapult back online and continue my kiting, we should be in relatively good shape. Nonetheless, though, Bounce Power is getting a little bit scary, so I don't have too much time to execute my plan. You know, if he's able to get the Giant River Troll Hag off the battlefield, that could be game blouses for sure. So the River Troll Hag is running for the hills. Grom the Paunch, I'm not really sure where he went. Yeah, I think he's just running over some Clan Rats, trying to get some freebies where he can. You know, going for the low-hanging fruit. And here, unfortunately, some Rat Ogres are going to be coming over here and going after my Doom Divers. Soothsayer, of course, very on point here, making sure that my dudes aren't able to get functional once again. So the Spider Riders are going to be pushing in, going after the Rat Ogres. They are okay in combat, 15 and 20 for their respective melee attack, but just with sheer numbers, and Rat Ogres have pretty bad melee defense too, so we might be able to drag some of them down with the Spider Rider kind of just horde. Unfortunately for me, there are 66 Clan Rats nearby, so I really need to get a little bit of additional support in this pocket. The one cool thing about Spider Riders is they actually do a pretty good melee defense. So here, another sniping ability going down from the Goblin Shaman. Does pick off one of the Rat Ogres, and Grom the Paunch is basically just a big old chubby distraction card effects up on the high ground, keeping this entire Skaven blob very interested. So here we need to break these guys. We're trying our best. The Rat Ogres are getting pushed down. Bounce Power was kind of creeping back towards middle there for a second, but when the Doom Wheel got there, things got really ugly, and also my Doomdiver Catapult crew did come back. But then I think they broke off once again. No, they're actually here. They're scuttling back, but yeah, the Hag's coming in. But yeah, him catching my Doomdiver crew and also my character getting terror routed here pretty much is going to be GG. So that was game one in our best of 3 series. Certainly a very scrappy game. You know, considering the map, that like I felt like it was so rough. I mean, I kind of had a build that was prepared for it, but I felt like in many ways it forced me into a suboptimal kind of situation. I don't know. I mean, the Goblin Rushes are pretty good against Skaven for sure. Like they do well. If Skaven are sitting in a very defensive pocket with like Jezzails and things like that. But I don't know what I would change with my build. Yeah, I mean, I'll show you guys my traditional build against Skaven that I usually use, and then we can kind of evaluate from there. But maybe like knowing the map, I knew it was a choke map. I probably should have gone for like 3 Doomdiver Catapults and just sat on the low ground and then forced this Skaven to come to me. That probably would have been the smart play because I think pressing their mortar teams with Soothsayer's really good micro and control was a little bit tricky for sure. But yeah, let's go and take a look at the build that I usually use against Skaven, and we'll see how it goes. Very well played to Soothsayer. Always a champion indeed, and that was game 1 in our best of 3 series. Game 2 will be going up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that, guys. It was a good series indeed. So now we're going to be jumping on over and taking a look at a build I would probably normally bring. We'll do some theory crafting and talk about how to improve. No, so that's my replays. Let's go to custom battle, and we'll can that. That was from something else. And do I have a set build for Skaven yet? I have a couple, I think. Yeah, something like this, but yeah, this is actually my older one. This was like right when the DLC came out. So basically the Goblin Big Boss on a Spider is really good because he can take out the Skaven characters with Grom the Paunch. You basically have this mobile goon squad with They Need Stabbing, which is really good. From there, I go with an Orc Caster using the Gaze of Mork. You can use Brainbuster against Clan Rat Blobs and Fist of Gork to go a little bit deeper in the sniping potential. So yeah, this might have actually been the build I had saved before. So let's go ahead and update this. Yeah, I mean, the leadership kit more or less is the same, but yeah, you get Grom the Paunch, you get a Goblin Big Boss, and honestly, the build I made was before Bob as well. Bob could actually be really good here. He's got enough mass and like stopping power to actually like stop Doom Wheels and things like that. You know what? Bob might actually not be bad. Bob might be okay. So we do need a caster. I think the Giant River Troll Hag is probably the best bet. I mean, the other caster is good as well, but with this composition, I think the River Troll Hag is better. So I would probably cut these abilities. You don't really need Buna. I mean, against Council Guard, it's okay, but Spirit Leech accomplishes the same thing, and you can get like these abilities to terror out and break the Skaven characters and whatnot. So Biggins are a little bit of a liability. It really depends on the map situation, but I think the Savage Orc Biggins can be very good because they really crump the Skaven front line, and if they do get to Rat Ogres and Hell Pits, they can also kill them. Maybe a couple of those guys, and then just get some basic Gobos here, one of which can be the AP Gloonies, which I think are pretty much always a must bring. So now we have some mass with the Black Orc Big Boss. I'm wondering if like mixing in a Spider would be good too. Because, I mean, Jezzails, I think most Skaven players are probably afraid to bring Jezzails in that matchup, simply because of how good Greenskins are at swarming. Stone Trolls could be quite good also, because high mass, they hit hard. They do have magic resist as well. Yeah, there's so many like options. Maybe you, like, I feel like you could cut Bob, and you could go with the Spider, and then from there just get like a very wide kind of pressure core, so get a couple Squig Hoppers just to pressure the back line, get a couple Spider Riders, and then like you're going to have enough anti-large with the Spider plus the Hag, and you mix in a couple Goblin Archers or something like that. So you could go with something a little bit like this. So from here, just get a couple Goblin Archers. And I feel like this could be okay. Of course, you could just put the Chevrons on the Goblin units and you're probably going to be fine. So yeah, we can just distribute it however you want. So I feel like something like this could work because the Savage Orc Biggins will wreck the front line. You have plenty of mobile pressure to get in there. Grom the Paunch, of course, does its thing. Spirit Leech plus Grom will be very good at killing the Skaven characters. And the Arachnaut Queen will help deal with Hell Pit Abominations and things like that. But I don't know. I'm not completely sold on this build. I was just kind of thinking about it. I feel like maybe like a Troll Rush could be a little bit better. So we cut you guys, I really do like the Squig Hoppers. They're very, very aggressive and certainly hit very hard. And then from here, I mean, maybe get like 2 Stone Trolls. So, okay, so the front line's going to be 3 Savage Orc Biggins with a couple of Goblins mixed in. We have a little bit of flank pressure here with the AP Gloonies. And now the Stone Trolls are enough mass to block up like Doom Wheels. So now our Archer line can actually be functional. And honestly, I would probably go with like a Savage Orc Archer line because they have better leadership and they can fend off rat summons. Yeah, I think something like this is pretty good. But again, in that battle, had I brought this, I think I would have just been forced into the choke. Without the Vanguard deployment, would have lost. But yeah, the Savage Orc Biggins will be good, susceptible against mortars. But again, we have the Stone Trolls to block up the Doom Wheels, Furnaces, Grey Seers, and also the Hell Pit Abomination, who they will lose to, but then you have the Savage Orc Airboys to really lay the hurt. So I think a build like this could be quite good. Anyways, well played. We'll see you back with Game 2 tomorrow, guys. And thank you so much for joining. Take care.